Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at something that's like a little out of the box for me. Huge thank you to 5K Toys for sending this out to me to review. 5K Toys stocks all types of different, unique, off-the-wall action figures, and every now and then they'll randomly send me something to review, and it's always exciting because most of the times the figures are absolutely incredible. So even though I don't know too much of this character here, I'm very excited to take a look at it because it looks amazing. The character design is awesome and the figure itself looks really good. What we have here is the Fancy Realm 112 Bird Monster Lei Zhenzi Thunder Shaking Child. That's how they title it on 5K Toys. And obviously I don't know too much about this character itself, but I did some research and I found out that he's kind of based on a character that is like a thunder bird god. And it comes from a book called The Investiture of the Gods. I don't know anything about that book, but it definitely sounds interesting, especially if it's going to have characters like this. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the packaging. The packaging on this figure is absolutely beautiful. Check this out. We got some really cool looking artwork, some awesome designs, and then check out the side of the box here. We have a little bit of artwork of the character, and then on the back we do have some information about the character in another language, so I don't know what it says. And then like it has this really cool cover that comes off. Check this out. And it's held onto the box with magnets, so it stays on there, but you could remove it. And check this out. This looks really, really dope. I mean, this could be used as a backdrop for photos or something. And then here we get a look at the figure itself. It is kind of hard to see because of the glare and everything. But yeah, man, this looks incredible. Like the packaging is freaking, it's like really, really nice. But enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get this guy out and take a look. Alrighty, so here we have him right out of the box. And man, this is a really interesting looking character. Look at this guy. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. The first thing that jumped out to me as soon as I took him out of the packaging was the armor. It looks so good. It's really well sculpted. There's some nice paint wash in there to bring out the details, and it just looks phenomenal. They did a great job with it. The character itself looks really cool too. I really like the deep blue color that he has, and it's kind of interesting how like he has different textures on his skin. Like the forearms and the feet kind of have like that claw type of scaly almost kind of texture that birds have, and then the rest of him just has like skin, and then he has feathers. There's a lot of different things going on here, but it's very cool, very unique and interesting. The wings look amazing. I like that they kept them simple. They're not too big. They don't have a bunch of points of articulation. They're just these small, cool looking wings that plug into the back. And yeah, they look good. And they move nicely on this one little ball joint. And they aren't too heavy. So yeah, you don't really have to worry about them messing up the weight of the figure. Because they're not too heavy, and because he has like these big old feet. So his feet kind of compensate for any type of weight imbalances that the wings would cause. Oops. So yeah, the wings are dope. And like I said, man, I just really like the look of this character. It's so weird. In a good way. It's not weird like ew, gross, but it's just like, man, this is so crazy. There's all kinds of weird things going on here. But yeah, man, I really like the look of this character. And like I said, I don't know too much about him or like the lore that he comes from or any of these books that this character or characters like him might have appeared in. But just like looking at this figure, it's like, man, this has a very interesting and crazy unique look. But it's awesome. I really like the design quite a bit. And you know, Fancy Toys, whoever they are, did a great job with the sculpting work. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at the details on him, because some of the armor has some phenomenal detail work, so it looks great. And they did some incredible work with the details on this guy, especially for a figure at this price point. The sculpting work on him is pretty damn amazing. Starting off at the head, this is a very cool looking head sculpt, but to me, it looks a little weird, doesn't it? Like his face kind of looks like a baby's face or something. I don't say that in a bad way. I still think it's a very cool looking character. But yeah, his face is kind of weird to me. But I do like it a lot. Check out the details on there. I like that the eyes have a little bit of a wet look to them. The ears have some like different colors in there. He's got an earring, or earrings on both sides actually. And he's got his teeth coming out from the front of his mouth there. And the fiery orange hair looks really cool. And there's some wash work inside of the hair to make all the details come out. Yeah, that looks awesome. But yeah, this is a crazy looking head sculpt to me. I don't know. Look at that. Looks really dope. And the color of the skin is cool too. It's like a blue, but there's all kinds of different shades of blue in there. You know, you have some darkness from the wash and a little bit of highlights, and obviously that carries on throughout the entire figure. But look at this, man. This is a really cool looking character. I love this shade of blue. And then check out the arms. The arms kind of have a texture of, like, you know, bird legs. So that's pretty cool to see. Look at that, man. That is crazy. He's got these bracelets on the wrist that are like a loose piece, so you can move them around if you need to. And check out the armor on the shoulder here. That's really where they went above and beyond. The armor. Look at that, man. Try to get the wing out of the way, but this looks so good. Look at all the texture and detail on there. Yeah, that sculpting is amazing. That looks really good. And then check out, like, around his waist, he has this whole thing going on. And just look at all the detail work in there. Yeah, that's incredible, man. Look at the ropes. They're really well painted. Man, look at that. This right here is really impressive. Hopefully you're able to see all the amazing work they did right here, because this looks so good. Right here on the knees, we have like some more bird like sculptures in there. And yeah, just look at that, man. Really insane work. Oh, and then he does have his bird foot. And that has the same texture as the forearms, so that's really cool to see. But man, this armor is really what, like, takes this figure over the top for me. This is all really well done. And then the wings look really nice too. I like how we have like different colors in there and stuff. There's a little bit of purple running through there. Mostly blue, but we have some dark blue, light blue, some more purple down here. Yeah, these look awesome. And like I said, I love that they're not too big. They don't weigh the figure down or anything. They're not like a burden. They're easy to deal with, and they look amazing. So look at that, man. Really good stuff. And then as for accessories, this guy does come with a really good amount, but there are two versions of this figure that you can buy. There's a standard version and a deluxe version. The deluxe one does have more accessories than the standard, so the amount of accessories that you get is going to be determined by which version of the figure you buy. But either way, there is a good amount. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on here. He does come with multiple heads. First off, we have this head sculpt that we've already looked at, and like I said, this does have like a very bizarre look. It kind of looks like a baby or something. I don't know. It's kind of creepy, but I do like it quite a bit. And then the alternate head is one that kind of has like a beak, but it kind of looks like a mask. This is really interesting. I think this is dope. I can't tell if it's a mask or what. It looks like it, and I like the hair on this too. It kind of looks like fire. And then for the third head sculpt, we get like an open beak. It kind of looks like he's screaming. Only the deluxe version comes with this extra head sculpt though. So you don't get the screaming head sculpt with the standard version, only with the deluxe. And then he does come with 3 sets of hands. First off, we get a pair of relaxed hands, and then we have a set of open clawed hands, and then finally we get a pair of gripping hands. And he does come with a bunch of cool weapons, including these staffs. He gets 2 different staffs. The first one is just like a basic staff, nothing going on. And then the next one is like a swinging version of the staff. So there is this swinging effect at the end, and then, you know, the staff itself is kind of bent. So these do look really good. The detail on the handle of these staffs is pretty crazy. Check this out. It's just like the armor. There's so much going on here. Man, this looks awesome. And then he does come with this hammer, and once again, the detail on this is just absolutely ridiculous. It is so clean. And man, look at that. There's so much detail in there. That is crazy. And then he does come with this really cool looking like dagger type of weapon. It's kind of shaped like a chalice, huh? Or the handle is. That's pretty cool. Man, check out the details on there. Oh, look at that. That kind of looks like a bird, huh? Man, that is insane. I just noticed that right now. Then we've got a crack back here. A bunch of texture on the handle. And then look at all that. Man, the sculpting work on this thing is crazy. Just like the rest of the figure. And then the dagger itself is kind of like a clear plastic. And with the deluxe version of this figure, this is supposed to light up. Like you're supposed to be able to tap this with the hammer and then this would light up. But for whatever reason, mine doesn't light up. Out of the box it did, and it lit up just fine for like a week. But today I sat down to mess with it and yeah, it just wouldn't light up anymore. So that kind of sucks because the light up feature was very cool, and it kind of adds to the value if you're getting the deluxe version. But he does have this like energy effect that you could put on the dagger, and this is pretty cool. Like this actually looks really, really dope. Look at that. Slides right on there. But man, I wish the light up feature still worked because it was super cool. I don't know if the battery died or what happened, but yeah, it doesn't work anymore. And like I said, I don't think I left it on or anything. I just came over to mess with it today and it just wouldn't turn on. So I don't know if it fell and broke or so. I don't know what the hell happened, but I do wish that the light up feature was a little bit more durable. You also get a stand, and this stand is really cool. I like how the stand itself is kind of like a mini diorama, and then it does have this posing arm that you can put onto the figure, but it's one of the ones that have like a clamp, so it is kind of hard to find a good place for him, but you could like grip this onto his leg or something. Either way, this is a good stand. It can support the figure, and he looks dope on there. So again, in my personal opinion, I think the amount of accessories that you get with either version is enough, but I feel like it's more worth it just to pay the extra $10 and get more accessories because the figure's not very expensive to begin with. So, you know, I would say throw in another 10 bucks and get more cooler, high quality accessories. All right, so now for some size comparisons. Here we have this bird thunder god alongside a couple of other figures that, to be honest with you, I'm kind of unsure of their names, but these are the enveloped Yamo 3-pack figures from Noda Toys. This guy right here, I freaking love it, but I can never remember what his name is. This guy over here is Wukong, but both of these figures look amazing next to this bird thunder god character. All of them look awesome together. They definitely look like they could interact in the same universe, so this is really dope. And then next up, we have them alongside the V-Toys LA Comic-Con exclusive green Asura figure, and then on the opposite side we have the Mythic Legions Demonstros. And then here we have them alongside a couple of Marvel gods. On the left we have Hercules, and on the right, of course, we have Thor. And then here we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And then for the final size comparison, here we have them alongside the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Damage Last Ronin. And then on the opposite side, we have my original character, that's ODIOUS. He's available for purchase now. There's a link to him in the description below. You could buy it from me directly or from Big Bad Toy Store. And the articulation on this guy is pretty good too. There are some areas that have limitations, but for the most part, I'm having a good time messing around with this figure. I think they did a good job with it, especially considering all the armor and different things that he has on him. You could still pose him up pretty good. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we have going on here, starting off at the head. So he does have like a ball peg here at the head, and the way they cut the neck actually, it made it to where you can move his head a good amount. So like move side to side, get some nice tilt action. Look at that. Boom. He's able to look down a crazy amount. And then he could look up only to about right there. But you could see like when you push the head back a little bit, they cut the neck way down right there. See? So, you know, it allows it to go way forward. I think they should have done it on the backside as well. But yeah, as it is right now, it gets some pretty good movement. I just wish he could look up a little bit more for flight poses, but you could get his torso to help out with that. But he kind of seems like the character that would be like flying down like this, descending upon the, you know what I mean? So good stuff here at the head. And then for the torso, he does have a diaphragm cut and a ball joint at the waist. The diaphragm cut allows him to twist like that, and we do get some side to side movement, but it looks like that's mostly coming from the waist, and the waist is a little hindered because of this whole piece, but you still get some decent movement. Okay, he's able to go back to about right there, which is good. And then let's see, he's able to go forward to about right there. I'm trying not to move the legs at the same time. Goes forward only to about right there. And if you remove this, which you can if you pop them apart, you're able to get more movement out of the ball joint at the waist. So, you know, that is an option. If you want to take this off, you can make them a little bit more posable in that area. And then we do get some side-to-side movement, but again, that's mostly coming from, no, that's actually going from the diaphragm cut. I wasn't sure if it's from the diaphragm or from the ball joint at the waist. So yeah, the diaphragm does get good movement, and then you get a little bit out of the waist itself. And then for the arms, so I do wish they did something a little different with the arms. There's no like butterfly joint or any type of butterfly joint substitution here or anything. It's just kind of a regular ball joint in there for the shoulder, but it does go all the way around. And also, like, the way they sculpted this area kind of makes it to where, like, you can't really get his arms in front of him too much, you know. So I wish that was different, but, you know, it's not a big deal. His arm is able to go all the way around. You could bring his arms out to the side a really good amount, which is crazy considering that he has these big ol' shoulder pads. And these are dope because they kind of shift around and do all kinds of things. There's little hinges in there so you can move them out, and then they're also on ball joints. So, yeah, the way they did the shoulder joint is really cool. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. There we go. He has, let's see what we have going on here. There we go. He has double jointed elbows that get a really good bend. Look at that. Bam. That is awesome right there. Then at the wrist, he has ball joints that also have hinges, so you could hinge it around, spin it around, do whatever you need to do. So good stuff there. And then for the legs, even though, you know, a lot of this stuff covers up the legs, it doesn't really hinder the articulation because it just kind of moves up. And there's a bunch of splits in there. So he's able to kick forward to about right there. He could kick to the side to about right there. And then he does have upper thigh swivel. He has double jointed knees. They get a good bend. Look at that. And then at the ankle area, he does have a ball joint, but it is kind of restricted because of the way this is sculpted. But it's a ball joint with the hinge, just like at the wrist. So we get some movement at the foot right there. You can spin it. You can rock it. So some pretty good stuff here at the foot. And yeah, the legs in general have a lot of great movement. Yeah, like I said, I think for the most part, there's definitely enough to have some fun with. Oh, I almost forgot the wings. The wings have a little bit of articulation. They basically just have ball joints that pop into the back, and that's really the only place where you're able to move them. But, I mean, I think it works pretty good. You could, like, swivel them that way, which is nice. You could bring them back a little bit, not a whole lot. And you can't, I mean, if you're just doing one at a time, you could bring it way back like that. But you're not able to do both because they kind of collide with each other. So if you're trying to get them both back at the same time, you basically can get to about right there. But yeah, you know, I don't mind the wings having minimal articulation. Like, I don't need crazy big articulated wings. I think something simple like this works really well. So yeah, I do like the articulation in the wings. And yeah, the articulation in general is pretty good, but it's not, you know, it's not the greatest thing ever. But I do feel like there's enough there to have some fun with. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, even though I don't know too much about this character and I'm very unfamiliar with the mythology that he comes from, I still think this is a very, very dope figure. Fancy Toys did a great job on this guy. Everything about it is really well done. The sculpting work is absolutely incredible, especially on the armor. I love the design of the character. I love the colors, like that deep blue on him looks really dope. I love the different paint washes that we have in there. I think they did a really nice job with the wings. They kept them very simple, you know. They're not big and clunky. They don't really like affect the balance of the figure, but they still look good and they're still big enough to feel like imposing, but they're not so big that they're annoying. So that's awesome. I really like the fact that they kept them simple. You can move them around still. They look good and they aren't like a burden. So that is really cool to see. As far as the accessories go, I love what we have going on here. Obviously, depending on which version you get, that's going to kind of determine how many accessories you get with this guy. But whether you get the deluxe or the standard, both come with a good amount of accessories. In my opinion, I think it makes more sense to spring for the deluxe version, pay a little bit more, and get all the cool accessories like the stand and the extra head and the light up feature. I mean, that kind of just makes the whole thing feel more worth it. And yeah, I like what we have going on. The multiple heads, the extra hands, the weapons, the stand, all that stuff is really cool. Unfortunately, the light up feature on mine went out. I still think it's worth it to get the deluxe version with the extra head and the stand and stuff, but it would have made it more worth it if the light was reliable and it actually worked. So yeah, that is one thing that does kind of suck about this light up feature. There's no way to switch out the batteries or check it out to see what's going on in there. You know, once it goes out, it just kind of goes out. So that does take away from the value, but I still think that it's more worth it to get the deluxe set to get the extra head and the other extra accessories. And as far as the articulation goes, I think it's okay on this guy. I'm having fun playing around with it, and I think you could get him into some dynamic poses, but I do think he would have benefited from a little bit more. Like, if he would have had some movement at the shoulder, I think that would have been great, and I really do wish that he had more movement at the waist, but even without those things, he's still a very fun figure to play with. And you know another thing that's dope about this guy? is the price. Like, this figure is not very expensive. For $35 plus shipping, you could get the standard version, which is really nice, a really great figure, comes with some good accessories, or you could pay $10 more, go $45 plus shipping, and get all the crazy accessories and this amazing figure. And you know, $45 can be a lot depending on what type of line you're talking about, but as far as figures that have like this level of quality, they're usually way more expensive. And you know, a lot of times when like we see these type of like very obscure, like, you know, like companies that are kind of unknown that come through with these crazy figures that are super high quality, typically they're much more expensive than just $45. So the fact that this guy only costs that much was really impressive, and in my opinion, it's definitely worth it, especially if you're a big fan of just like, you know, mythologies and different gods from different cultures around the world. I think if you're into that stuff, you'll love this figure because, in my opinion, Fancy Toys did a great job all the way around on this guy. So yeah, I don't really have any big complaints other than I do wish he had a little bit more articulation in the shoulders and in the waist. And, you know, aside from that, I don't think there's anything to complain about. This guy turned out awesome. So yeah, I like it quite a bit. And with that, I think that's it. Huge thank you to 5K Toys for sending this out to me to review. You guys are always awesome. If you guys want to check out this figure, I'll leave a 5K link in the description below, so be sure to check that out. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.